Good morning, YouTube. Today I'm just gonna hop on and show you what we're using for my youngest. She's 4, her kind of K4 curriculum. Some of this is preschool, some of this is pre-K, some of this is kindergarten, but I'm just gonna kind of go through what we're using. Now, we are not using all of this every day. I just kind of, these are resources that we are using to do homeschool. So if you have any questions about any of these or would like to see any like individual reviews, be sure to leave those in the comments. And if you like these homeschool kind of videos, like this video and consider subscribing. And I'm just gonna hop right into it. So the first thing we do this together. This is Positive Action for Christ Bible curriculum, and this is the kindergarten edition because we did the preschool edition last year, so we are doing the kindergarten. My second grader is doing this with us, but it's pretty simple. Obviously Piper does part of it with us, and then sometimes she decides she's not really into it. She listens to the stories, but she doesn't always do the worksheets. So this is the kids edition. There are 35 lessons in this one. Here's the table of contents, and it goes pretty, I mean, the stories are good. It has scripture and songs and stuff to go along with it. And then it also, this has character traits in it where the preschool edition did not. So I do like talking about different character traits with my girls and what they mean and how we can show them. And so I like this. We will go ahead and do the first grade next year. Okay, so for phonics, and I have quite a few things for phonics here. So first off, we are using, let me pull this over here. We are using the All About Reading pre-reading. Piper already knows like all of her letters. She knows what they look like. She knows most of the sounds. So instead of going through this like it says, where you go through like all the lowercase letters and then you go through all the uppercase letters and then you go through all the letters again. So you go through the alphabet 3 times. And with it, there are like different activities you do, and there's different like rhyming lessons and stuff. So I do go through and do those, but she's really good on rhyming. Like this one, you say the word and then they have to say the rhyme. So you have onset and rhyme. The onset is the beginning sound, and then the rhyme is the end of the word. So she can do those. She's really good. She has really good phonemic awareness, so I'm not overly concerned with that. So what we do is, I'll pull out a couple of those activities to do every week, but generally I just take a letter a week, and we do the lowercase and we do the uppercase and we do the sound. So we're just spending a week on each letter instead of going through all the letters multiple times. Now, I also have, and I keep these in like a sleeve where I've already printed them out, so I'm trying to pull it out of the little sleeve here. So I have these, and some of these I accidentally printed before I realized I needed single-sided. So I will link, I'm not sure, I don't remember exactly where I got these. I know I got them off Teachers Pay Teachers, but I'll have to link the shop below. So this is just an alphabet book. So it's got this where it's got the letter, and so usually on Monday she'll do this letter, or she'll do this page. And then we have this, and I'm saving these more for the end after she's had some more practice with writing. Handwriting is not her favorite thing, so this is a lot to get her to sit down and do. So there's another sheet I've got that's got a few letter practice on it, so she does do some of that. Now this is where I said you have to have front and back or single-sided, because you have to cut and paste. She loves the cut and paste ones. So this one, you have pictures. If it starts with the G sound, it goes here. If it does not start with the G sound, it goes here. And then on the back, this is the one we usually do. So you can kind of see, this one just has one row of capitals and one row of lowercase. Plus they have to find and circle all of the G's that they can see up here, where this one has 2 rows of each, plus 2 words at the bottom. So these we're going to pick up and do after we get done, probably with all of our letters. That'll be kind of her handwriting, her daily handwriting practice. We'll go through those again. And then here's another cut and paste. This is capitals and lowercase. So usually, like Monday, we'll talk about the capital, and then Tuesday we'll talk about the lowercase. So on Tuesday, I usually make her do this one, and she sorts them, which she doesn't have any trouble with that. And then towards the end of the week, she always does this one, and she does like this. And you color the pictures that begin with that G sound. So, so we do usually all of those sheets except for that one handwriting sheet. And I put all those back so that I have them later on. So, also with reading, let me pull those. We have the Bob books, and she is reading through these. We are up to, I think, book 5, because this is book 6. So we have read, she's read the first 5 books, or she's on the 5th one that she's practicing right now. And there are several sets. We have, I think, set 1, set 2, and set 3. And then there's some like sight words books and rhyming books and long vowels, complex words. There's a whole bunch of different Bob book options. So, and I'm sure you can find these on Amazon. The other thing I have for reading is the Usborne, let's see, My First Reading Library. It's got 50 books, and it is available on Usborne Books and More. And I do have a website. I think it's still active. But anyway, I do have a website for these. So I can link that below, and it does have 50 books. The first 7, there are 2, and what this is like the Bob books, they should be able to start reading on their own, but the stories are not, you know, they're very basic because there's not a lot of words they can read. These are neat because when you open them up, the parent reads the smaller print, and then the beginning reader reads the large print. So they can read tap, 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 but they get more story to go along with it. So this is kind of, you read it together. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call. All right, so these are, and I think this, yeah, these are the, like the level 1 books. So you can see like Double Trouble. It's got, you know, short I, short A, but then there's a good story that you can read with your little one to where they get more of a story out of it, but they can actually help you read it. So that's super fun. So we really like those. The other thing that I have used for literacy and for some like sight word practice and stuff, I got this off of Teachers Pay Teachers also. And then I have the PDF, so I just sent the PDFs into, I want to say Office Depot maybe online, and had them print it and bind it for me. So, and it has just a clear cover, and so it has, you know, all the table of contents, and then she just works through this. And I've got I have the seasonal ones for kindergarten, and then I have the monthly set for first grade that my daughter used. And I want to say I have the monthly set for second grade, but I'm not sure. So anyway, so there's patterns, there's letter matching, there's writing their letters, lowercase letters, there's another uppercase, and we've not done all of those. Color words, beginning sounds. So there's like, sometimes there's like a little place you cut off, and so we just cut it and she can paste that way. I think there's 2 of those. And then there's ending sounds. So it has the letter, and then they have to paste the picture that goes there. This one was beginning sounds. Then they have to write in the beginning letter, counting. So there's tons of these. vowel sounds, missing numbers, sight words, and she's just kind of starting to get into some of the sight word stuff. There are some books. I think there's an apple and a pumpkin book that you can cut out and staple together and they can color it. 10 frames. So I really like this for all of the variety that they have for practice. And a lot of times with Piper, I have one of the carts that's got like all the different color drawers. So she'll do like a thinking activity, which I'll show you in a few minutes, a couple of those. And then she'll do like her top drawer. And so this might be something that I put in her drawer. Her top drawer is usually some kind of thinking or coloring or some kind of concept work. Her second drawer is usually a literacy, and which is usually one of those worksheets. And then her third drawer is math, and it's usually a game, or sometimes it could have been like that counting, that cut and paste counting, or tens frames or something out of that. So sometimes it's a game, sometimes it's a worksheet, it just depends. So speaking of math, here is generally what we've been using. I love mathematical reasoning. So she has done part of this. She already did, this is beginning 2. She already went through beginning 1. So this just has, touch each shape and say its name, say the number of objects, and then write the number. I mean, it's very simple, but it's just conceptual math that she does really good with. Writing the numbers, big and small, over and under, just good stuff like that. And then we also use Primer, which Matthew C. Primer. She does not like the video lessons. She hates to watch the video lessons, but she's doing well enough in her math. If she needs me to give her instructions on what to do, then one time I give her instructions and she's got it. So obviously I guess she's finishing up lesson 7 this week. So there are 30 lessons in this, so you don't really have to do one a week. Plus there's 8 worksheets per lesson. So, some weeks we kind of use extra worksheets and go back and do some old stuff. But she's done excellent with this so far. No problems. I highly recommend. It is all black and white. There is no color. But both of my girls use Primer. They're both very good in math. So I do recommend Matthew C. For handwriting, is kind of a struggle for me. So there's some different things that I have used. I do have this Math Readiness, and I'm thinking back in here somewhere there is a thing where they write their numbers. Sometimes I let her practice tracing and writing her numbers in here, because this is a write and reuse. So she can use, we usually use wet erase markers because they don't smear when she's writing, but I think we just got this at Walmart or something. So we have used that. I made this online. I want to say it's like Worksheet Maker or something. I'll have to see if I can find it because I made it a while back. But you can put any word on here and it will just come up. So this is how we practice writing her name. So obviously she loves purple, so this has had purple on it many, many times. And before we really started doing that, I got these. And I can't remember what website I got these on either. So what I did, I printed them out just in black and white on colored paper, and then I laminated them. And so she can just use dry erase or wet erase on these. There's nothing on the back. And so you just start here and trace around. And so we have the upper loops, zigzags, circles, slanted lines. And these are all the different lines you need to make all the letters. So you've got your straight lines, your U shapes, a cross, and I think that's it. So we have practice on these. Both of my girls use these. So it's just practice making those shapes that you will need when you start making the actual letters. My oldest used these. This is the pre-K, K version, and then there is a kindergarten version. So obviously they've put stickers on it. So this is very simple. So first they talk about, you know, how to hold a pencil, and then you practice your straight lines, and then it shows you all the letters that start out with this straight line being your first one. And then there's some more practice for a straight line, and then you go over here and you have horizontal lines, and then all the letters that have that, uppercase letters that have that horizontal line. And then it goes into diagonals in the different directions, and so you have your letters that need those diagonals. Then you go into circles, and you have all of your letters with circles and matching, and then it goes into each letter, and so they practice those. So you can see we've made it to the E's. So we have that, and then the kindergarten one starts with that too, but then it's a little more in depth, and the letters are a lot smaller starting out than that other one is. So, and then by the end, there's our numbers, and see here they're making words and writing sentences in the kindergarten book. So a lot more to do in this one. I also picked up this one for Piper to kind of start out with. This is the Writing Without Tears, Handwriting Without Tears. I didn't get the whole like set. I just got the workbook, my first school book. So generally, so what we're doing on this is, you know, she practices the lines, she's coloring. She likes to color better than my oldest did. My oldest, oh, she hated coloring. And so we're kind of going through the colors right now, and then we will go into making our letters. So we've kind of worked on that a little bit. So that's what we've used for handwriting so far. For other stuff, science, look, I'm a scientist. This came with the Timberdoodle kit. I think the pre-K, maybe the pre-K kit, or maybe it was the preschool kit. But both of my girls, we used this past summer, and they love it. They have how to make slime, how to make, there's different, here's the slime recipe. I don't think it worked very well. It was very sticky. Play-Doh. No, I think that's still slime. But you had to talk about whether it was solids or liquids and what properties it had and all that good stuff. And then Iceberg Rescue, and you're supposed to freeze it and then figure out how to get the animals out. And then talk about the wind and making a windsock, balloons. Now this one was super fun. The bucket we used ivory soap and food coloring, and you use a mixer. You see right here, you use a mixer and it blends, and it does not take much. And they played with this for hours outside. So a lot of these are outside activities. So we did get this out in the summer and do a lot of the activities. So I really recommend that. That did come from, that was in a Timberdoodle kit. This also came in the Timberdoodle, the Berenstain Bears Big Book of Science and Nature, and it's kind of like Berenstain Bears style book, but it talks about just fall, the moon, summer, the sun, spring, tornadoes. So I mean, you can see there's April Fool's Day, skiing, wintertime. So it just kind of goes through the year and talks about different things. So that one's neat. Piper, my youngest, she does really love the Berenstain Bears, so she's pretty interested in that one. We also have my very first Our World book. I also have a Lift the Flap version of this. I think it's just the Our World book for my Lift the Flap one. But this one is just a picture book. And I love how everything is labeled. It reminds me of those Richard Scarry books that I would have when I was little, where everything was labeled out. So there's the world, and there's the seasons, and dusty deserts. So anyway, this come from my Timberdoodle kit, but it's also an Usborne book, like the My First Library. And I really love the Usborne books for homeschooling because I feel like there's just so much you can do with them. So in my first grade review, I used one of the question and answer books for our science, and it worked really well. So if you haven't seen that video, I will link it up in the cards. And then also in the Timberdoodle, this was part of the Timberdoodle set, but I think I did order it myself through Usborne. This is the Zoo Picture Puzzle book. And so what it is there's just different things. It's kind of like, well, where's Waldo? But there's different stuff for them to find. And so the clues for what to find are in the little like word bubbles. And we have the zoo one, the under the sea one. I think there's a farm one. There's a bunch of different ones. And I think we have a space one. But my girls love to use these, and usually like when we go on car trips, I'll take a couple of these with us and they'll play with them in the car. And I think the last thing I have to show you is some of our logic workbooks. A lot of our logic stuff is games, which I'll do a separate video on. That one will probably come up in the next couple weeks. But these are the Kuman Thinking Skills workbooks, and this is the pre-K level, pre-K and up, and just pre-K. So we have spatial reasoning, which is a lot of, I think, mazes, and like if you put the two shapes together, what's it going to come out to look at? So those are pretty neat. A lot of just thinking skills. Here's some more mazes. So that one's good. Logic. I also just got Mindbenders for my 7-year-old, so she enjoys those. Comparing weights, comparing speeds, relationships, drawing conclusions. So differentiation. I think this one we've done quite some on. This is, matching, like the mirror image would be opposite, so they have to think about that. So here, matching. And so they have to look at something and decide what's behind what should be on the other side of that picture. So she's done several of those, and I think she's done several of this one too. I could be wrong. See, this is drawing. You see how she's drawn. That's my 4-year-old. So there's certain things she's had to draw or trace herself. So she's had fun with that one. So overall, this is kind of what we've been using for her. There's a lot of games that we use, and I will do a separate video on that one because she does really enjoy the games. But for, basic reading, math, handwriting, that kind of thing, this is basically what we've been doing. And we are several weeks into our school year at this point, and I'm letting her take it kind of how she wants to, because she is just 4. She won't be 5 till March, so I'm not pushing it at this point. Just kind of, she's excited about it, she wants to do it, so if she wants to take a day off here and there, then I let her, because she's in preschool, and my oldest did preschool 3 days a week, so if we get 3 days a week in, then I'm pretty happy with our week. So if you have any questions, comments, review requests, any questions about any of this material, please just leave them in the comments, and I will try to answer them as they come in. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks.